And then there's the physical system. Inadequate water, inadequate food. Malnutrition is the thing that is a huge issue around the world today. You know, you're talking about, you know, the people sometimes bemoan that there's been no change in the world. You know, the poor are there, they've been there for so long, there's no change. There actually has been quite a bit of change over the last 50 or 60 years in the world. People rarely now die of starvation, okay? But they do die of malnutrition. Complications that come from not eating the right diet. Right? They've got food, they've got calories, they don't have the balance. And actually, if you want all the details, you should talk to Dr. Long later, because I'm not the doctor in the room. But when a child under 5 is not nourished well, they will pay for that their entire life. There's no making it up in some ways, okay? Their ability to, their mental capacity, their physical capacity, if you're malnourished under 5, will stunt you all your life. You now have limits. So the idea that, well, we can just take some young woman at 20 years old and expect her to be able to do anything that we do may or may not be true, because she may be suffering from something that happened a long time ago. So malnutrition is an area in which you just have a biophysical issue there, right? So again, how do you deal with that? How do you get involved in that? It comes into long-term relationship, walking with people, ensuring that they consistently have food and nutrition that they need. Not that today they've got a bag of rice, but that year after year after year, they have the things they need. They have the nutrients that they need in their diet, and walking with them in that. It's all a part. It's a web that would seek to ensnare people in poverty and keep them there. And very hard to break out. When you thrash in one direction, if you're caught in a web, you get caught up in other parts of the web. And so it's a complex thing as well. And we have to go in and we have to step through bit by bit, working with different parts of this, but have to address all of it. Okay? If you see the woman standing on the corner by the highway exit, and you hand her $1, then she may buy some food, right? And it might actually be something she needs right now. And whether or not she does, I'm not going to get into that. But if you really want to change your life, you park the car, you get out, you start a conversation, and you do the same thing day after day, year after year, walking with her to help put that life back together. That's what it takes to change a life, to break a cycle of poverty. It doesn't happen quickly and easily. And a lot of times I think our desire is, especially in our society where we have, you know, quick solutions, instant things that get done, that we can have a solution. I have developed in my mind a new saying, which is, if you have found the simple answer, you're wrong. Okay? I don't care what it is. When you step into something and you say, oh, this is so easy, all you need to do is bop, 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 and it'll be okay. Then you're missing something significant in the equation along the way, I can assure you. Because nothing is that simple. And if it was that simple, there are a lot of really bright people who would have figured it out before. So it's not like you've probably landed upon something. I had somebody once, I was talking about the challenge when we lived in Kenya. I was talking about the challenge of the Maasai to grow vegetables, because the herd animals would eat anything that grew, right? In particular elephants, but all the other animals as well. So we were talking about fencing options and this kind of stuff. I had somebody say, well, you know, in my garden I put this deer spray on all my stuff, and it keeps the deers from eating my vegetables. Have they got deer spray in Kenya? And then they can have vegetables, and it'll all work. And I said, well, we don't. There's a cost issue there. You know, there are lots of issues there, but one would be cost, and one would be, I just don't think an elephant's going to care a lot about deer spray. I've seen them. They're big. When they want something, they want it. That's pretty much all there is to that. So in the process of change, though, it's God that transforms people. It's God that transforms life. right? It's not us. It's not our brilliance, but it's God who comes in and He changes life. We can offer tools, we can offer education, we can offer opportunity. Those are the things we want to do. But we have to bathe this whole effort in prayer, because people's lives are going to change when the Spirit of God moves in them. Now we can bring some change along the way of physical well-being and without God moving. But will that actually last? Will that then go from that person to transforming the family, to changing the community around them? Not without the Spirit of God. Not without the power of the Holy Spirit really guiding and directing that person, changing that heart for life eternal. And so when we go out to do this work, I often have the question, well, how are you different from any other organization? Because CARE's out there and Save the Children's out there, and they're really big. And when you look at what do you do, right, in terms of we clean water, food security, disaster response, microfinance, all kinds of people do that. But what makes the difference is whether or not you've got the power of God working with you to do that. Okay? We're not the only Christian organization doing that too. We partner with I don't even remember the count. I know we partner with over 20 different Christian organizations in the field to do the work we do. A very large part of what we do happens in partnership with other Christian organizations that are fabulous organizations doing good work. We'll bring one skill, they'll bring another, and we work together to get things done. And so I'm not going to suggest we're the only Christian organization out there, but I would tell you that the difference that it makes, whether or not Christ is in the midst of this, is whether or not life is truly transformed or not. That the power of the movement of the Spirit is what will bring that long-term change, that will break that cycle of poverty, that will empower women to move forward. The gospel is an empowering gospel. God is an empowering God. He wants people to live out their lives in the fullness of who He created them to be. And we want to bring that to people. And the people we have working in the field, and this is where I wish I could take you out and have you meet Florence in South Sudan, or Jane Napaso with the Maasai, or Haroon, or any number of people I could mention that work for us, who have committed their life to sharing Christ through helping people break the cycle of poverty. And it doesn't work because we come up with really clever Bible stories. It works because the people are passionate about sharing Christ when they're out there. Now today you're going to meet a few of our area directors, Diane and Rick, and who are in from the field for strategy meetings. They're a couple of those people whose heart and passion on the field is to share Christ and to lead people to do that as well. But that's where the difference is made. That's how we change and transition lives. But you share Christ in relationship. You step into the messiness of life and you live there with the people through a time, through a growth situation. And that's what we're there to do. Stay long term. Walk with all the different people that God gives us to work with. I wish we could work with more, but we work with those faithfully that God puts in our life to work with, and trust that He'll work out the needs of the others that He does not call us to. I'll stop there because I realize I'm now cutting into Dr. Long's part. I'll save the other 2 pages here for some other time when we're together, and invite Jacinta to come back. Do you have questions though as we wrap up? Did I say something that you were like, I didn't understand that at all, or questions, comments? Okay.